I light the Christ candle to remind us of the Christ energy in all of us. Let's ignite that power. Let's see that power and presence in each other's faces. And today, the word for today is grace, for Sunday, November 4th. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. The Gospel of Luke tells the story of a father who willingly divides his property between his two sons. After wasting his inheritance and experiencing extreme poverty, the younger son returns to his father's home, humbled. When the young man declares his unworthiness to be called son, his father responds by giving him gifts and celebrating his homecoming. Surely this young man experienced grace. Like the prodigal son, I may feel unworthy, feelings of unforgiveness, such as the older brother felt, may also block the flow of good in my life. As I recognize and release these thoughts and feelings, I open my entire being to God's grace. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. Then the father said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours." That's from Luke 15, verse 31. Thank you.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
As we stay into this place of peace, of calm, of quiet, we allow that inner voice to speak within. And today, we're looking at a clear, beautiful blue sky. See it with your mind's eye. And we know that within that sky, within the sun, moon, and stars, within our earth, there is an intelligence that knows what is in our heart, knows the questions that we have. So as we sit together in our mind's eye, shoulder to shoulder, hearts open, we ask the intelligence, what needs to happen here? And then we ask, for that to happen, what is it I need to give up? And in the willingness to be able to let go, we then ask, what is it that I am to embrace? And finally we ask, what is mine to do? And as we are sitting shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, we feel a love so strong, so connecting, so beautiful. And now knowing the answers. We bring them into focus as we gently, quietly in our own time, filled with knowing this indeed is a new day, a new beginning. We come back to this very holy, sacred place. It has been said that stillness is the language God speaks, and that everything else is a bad translation. So when we scurry around with this quest of finding out who we are and what's our life purpose, we sometimes forget that all we have to do is go to that sacred place, go to divine mind, spirit, the great unknown. And that great unknown is the quiet place within where we just were. And in that it's sacred and it speaks to us in silence. And be in gratitude for the blessing of that pure, sweet, still heart of the universe. So many times people say to me, I'm so lost, I don't know what to do. And I say that is so good. Because when you're lost and when you're hurting and when you're discouraged, that's when you have the opportunity to take a look at who and what you are and go to find ourselves, not ourselves out there, but go to that place within and find out what is hurting. Because it's always a cause. You know, we have first cause, God, and then we have second cause. And it's always the cause under the cause that is really where our challenges or our heart space is, or where our hurting is. And we need to go to that place. So when you're lost, it doesn't mean that we have to hit rock bottom or a crisis just to keep growing spiritually. But sometimes a lot of people will hit that place first. You know, I'm all the way down, there's no way up, and oh my God, there's only one way up, and that's to get up. Jesus said, take thy bed and walk. That means take that which you get up and deal with it. So being lost is almost one of the better things that can happen, because it's God pushing us forward, saying, take a look at this. You're not acknowledging what's going on in your own life. And as soon as we begin to look at that situation or behavioral patterns, then we no longer want, because we've already taken that first step towards thanksgiving and towards gratitude. You know, many times we've spoken about and reading that we have to love ourselves to love one another. And while this is true, and I agree with it, I think we need to take it to a higher level, to pure love. And with pure love, that means that we're within. It's very easy to walk around and feel good on Sunday and you feel good on Monday and you have all the platitudes, and preferably you took something great away from the service. But, you know, and it's really great to say, I love you, and I love you, and I love you. But are you saying that's the face of God I love? Is that the face of God I love? We don't want to walk around to each person we saying, you are the face of God, because some people think we're a little crazy. But that's okay. And you thought people are a little crazy. But we do want to take that pause before we greet and say hello and say good morning and acknowledge this is Monica, this is Vita, this is Jackie, this is Iris, whom God is so in love with, and therefore I am too. So I believe that it's time that we begin to have a pure love affair with Spirit. And begin to have a love affair with Spirit, like the great poet Rumi has a love affair with Spirit. He gets drunk on Spirit. He's so in love with Spirit. Then we don't have to take the time to stop and pause and say, is this the face of Jackie? Is this the face of God? There, immediately through our soul connection, it is revealed. And that's what it means that we can talk to each other without words. And you know that we do that. We do that with our eyes. We do that with our facial experiences. When we're talking with somebody and we're sincere, we lean into people because we're reaching to touch that space that is so pure and so beautiful. Humanity needs to wake up to its divinity and know who it is. Howard Thurman wrote this. He said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you alive, and do it, because the world needs people who come alive. So when you're here in any church, synagogue, or whatever, temple here, when you're within that, when humanity is within that, are we taking it in? Do we come with open hearts so that we can go out there and be alive? We don't want to be the walking dead anymore. How are we alive? What is the energy that's moving us forward? How do we become alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? When you leave here today, is it, oh, I have to go to Walmart, and I have to stop at the grocery store, and somebody's coming at 11, at 12, and I forgot, did I put the soup on, or whatever? Or are you saying, wow, look at this wind today. Look at these beautiful leaves. Look at how the universe is clearing to get ready for winter. Look, I know you don't like that word, but it's part of where you live. So, if I can get used to it, you can get used to it. We have within us this beautiful organ, and it's called the heart. And if we listen to our heart in stillness and allow Spirit to speak to us, I promise you, I totally promise you that everything in your life will show up as it should. Our heart, says Dr. Holmes, is the center of divine love. Our heart, it's the center of divine love. Love is the center of man's being and the calm, continuing pulsation of life, governed by love. Governed by love. So divine love is what is a blessing. It's so much to be thankful for. Thank you for that which is within us, that's pulsating, that's bringing blood through our whole body right now, nourishing us. So how do we get to this place where we dance and fall in love with Spirit? There has to be a shift, and a big shift in our consciousness. And it's the shift from loving planet Earth and becoming pure love on spiritual plane. To shift our consciousness. I spent 2 days in solitude, Friday and Saturday. I spent 2 days in solitude just asking the questions, how? How do you shift? How do I shift from that place of being so stuck in the inertia of what's going on? I probably said that word wrong. It's okay. You know what I meant. But how do we shift from that? How do we shift this consciousness? How do we take all of this stuff and give it up and surrender to it? And in the quiet of 2 days, that's 48 hours of total quietness, Spirit in many ways started to speak as I was writing, as I was reading, as I was thinking about all of you, as I was thinking about what is new thought, taking in all that Dr. Jim shared with us on the 3 and 4 days that he was here with us. And the shift in consciousness for me is this. As Dr. Jim explained, that people are all at different places, including me. And where are we on that spiritual path? And while it is my love and willingness to meet you at that place, we have to remember the place. And that's where we slip up. That's where I slip up. To remember the place of who and what we are. Some people are here guarding the fort and they're not going to let go because this is precious to them. And I wish that I had understood that and realized that a few months ago, because it would have changed my perception of how I looked at things. So each one of you are on a different spiritual path. So each one of you then, to honor each other, need to look at that. Nobody's bad. Nobody's good. We're all love. That's all we are. And when we're not taking the time to honor each other and give each other that space, then we're not honoring the 5 principles of this teaching. And that's where the shift has to come. It has to come from looking and knowing who we are, and then everyone that we talk about, stop talking about them and start speaking with them about their feelings, their hearts, their loves. That's what's important. That's how we heal. It's not about filling seats, although Dr. Jim says each one of these seats are infinite potential, and I do believe that. But it's not about that. It's healing hearts and souls. That's what this is about. And how do we do this? Shift our energy. If your energy is on the ground, there's very little vibration coming from you. So how do you do that? For me, I have to blast music. I do. Unfortunately, I have to look outside first and see if my neighbors left so they don't complain about the music. But that's what shifts my energy, because when I blast music and start dancing in my house, then all of a sudden love starts flowing, energy starts flowing. I'm sure for Annie it would be going out and planting in her garden, or John's going, oh God, she's planting, it means after work. But everybody, we have a passion. So what is your passion? For some, you get out the cookbook and you start making cookies or brownies. But each one of us has something that lifts us. So when you get to that place where the energy and you don't feel it, then do what brings you passion, and that passion will bring you back. It's vibrational energy. Do you all agree with me that we're energy? That spirit, whatever it is energy. So what energy are we putting out there? And what is coming back to us? That's what we're supposed to do. So, in quantum physics tells us that 99.9999999 of everything appears solid light of energy. How much of that solid light of energy are we allowing to come out into? It's kind of like the brain. How much of our brain do we use? Right? So when we can raise that solid light of energy, and do you know what that's called? It's called 0-point field. Scientists are calling this 0-point field. And do you know what that is being defined of by scientists? The mind of God. Oh my God. There will come a day when science and religion walk hand in hand. And it is happening. And do you realize how powerful this is? This is a great thing. 0-point field was coined by Einstein and Otto Stern in 1913. And look how long it has taken for us in science and the world to catch up. Whatever you call it, it's all good, it's all God, it's all energy. And religion and scientists are saying the same thing. This is a good thing. This means that there is a new connection, a new understanding of what is going on out there. And it's a little scary sometimes. It's scary for me sometimes. One of the things that Dr. Jim said to me very clearly in our private conversations was, you, meaning me, Aubree-Lynn, do not know how to ask for help. You think you can bottle it all up, because if you let people know how you think or when you're scared, then they're going to think you're weak. So that was like being stunned a little bit with a stun gun. I was like, no, I asked for help. He said, do you now? Let's think about it. And my resolve started to break down a little bit. And in that, I realized that it's okay to say, hey, I'm a little off today. I'm scared. I'm not okay. So what did I do this week? I have a mentor. You all know her well, and that's Reverend Mo. So at 8 o'clock Friday morning, because she likes 8 o'clock on Friday morning, we talked for an hour, and we talked about my willingness to ask for help. And each one of us needs to be able to do that. As we move into, and eventually we will, as we move into Mission Center church or center, as we do that, then each person that is a leader in that group, and many of you went through leadership with us this past weekend, then that person will be in charge. But that person needs to know it's okay and come and say, I'm stuck on this, I need help. Then we give help. We don't go after everybody and say, I have this idea, and I have this idea, and I have this idea. We just say, if a leader needs help, ask. So I am asking. I need help. And what I need help in is that we all become spiritual warriors of love. that we put everything else down and we just go shooting love at each other. That's what I'm asking for right now. I'm just asking for love. None of this is on any of these papers, but that's okay, because what I prayed for today was that God would speak through me. So I don't even know where I am. So anyhow, everything in the universe is from one source, and the only difference is the frequency of vibration. So do you agree with that with me? Do you agree that the frequency of vibration? So when we do this, everybody do this. Everybody do it, 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 and put it out. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Whoa, I can. Can you feel it? When I was holding hands with Iris this morning during a circle of prayer, the heat and vibration from her hand was amazing. That was pure love. You know, the great Essene stated that the greatest sin is to question your divinity. Wow. That's that part that comes up and says, why am I worthy? That was one of the hardest things I went through in becoming a minister. Who am I to be a minister? I'm not worthy to be a minister. I'm not religious. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. The greatest sin is to question your divinity. So look at it this way. If I go to the ocean and I take a cup of water and I take it to the Midwest, okay, is the water still part of the ocean? Thank you. Just because it's in a different place, it doesn't change the fact. And the same is true of us. When we're in a different space, perhaps a space we don't wish to be in, it doesn't mean that we're apart from God. It doesn't mean that we're not part of our higher self. It just means we're separating from God. Heal the separation. Heal your life. ABC, awareness brings consciousness. There's nothing to heal. There's only something to reveal. You are already everything you can be. You have to just rise up to it. Raise your energy level. Bring it up. Come into harmony with all life. You can have outrageous results if you do that. You know, about 2 months ago, and I think I already told you this, but I'm going to tell you again because I want to. So about 2 months ago, you remember there was that old black car always parked in front of the door, and it always annoyed me, and it always annoyed me. And I always said to Leanne and Jackie, that car out there annoys me. And then, so I said to Leanne one day, do you think if I wrote them a really nice note, like and asked them just on Sundays if they would move the car, do you think they would? And she said, well, that might be good. That might be okay. And we thought about it, and I didn't do it. And do you know what? The car hasn't been parked there since. It has not been parked there since the day I did not write that note. So you can't tell me that there's something about this energy, about the vibration. And we look, and it's not there anymore. They park across the street now. Wow. God still tickles my funny bone. And this is what I mean about falling in love with spirit, having a love affair with spirit. So are you ready? Are you ready to have everything that the unknown has in your hearts and souls? Are you ready to open to that? Hello out there. Okay. Are you ready to have a love affair with spirit? Okay. Are you living your life in total harmony and belief that God is all there is? Yes. You and the Creator are one? Yes. God speaks in the language of stillness. Yes. The stillness is God. Your heart space is where God lives. You are living in a continuum from good to more. Yeah, you are. See, then you are high on spiritual path and in harmony with all that created you. It's not spiritual to be lonely, sad, angry, broke, resentful, because you cheat the God within of its magnificence, and that magnificence is you. So each time we step away from that total vibrational energy, the essence of who and what we are, we're not living to our highest good. And when we're not living from our highest good, that's when the stuff hits the fan. And we don't want that. We just don't want that. Don't deny yourself. I can't deny myself anymore the riches of the world. And I'm not talking about money or cars or houses. I'm talking about the richness of the love from all of you. I'm talking about the richness of the love of my cat. I'm talking about the peace, the fact that I can get up every morning and journal and pray and have time for meditation and what that gives. There is so much more for each one of us. Brene Brown says there is no joy without gratitude. And the Course in Miracles says all things are the echoes of the voice of God. Please, I ask you, take time each day to find that place of stillness, whatever brings that to you. And for each time that your words want to go to, and it doesn't mean in here, it could be your job, your families, your friends, that person, start loving that person. Every person that is not here today, and I know why they're not here today, I wrote prayers for this morning. Each one of you, when I say I need help, I need each one of you to hold a higher vision for our church, for each one of you, and for me. There is something called the high watch. Are you holding the high watch? I am holding the high watch for all of you. I need all of you to hold the high watch for me. We have to do that because we have to do it for the world. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. And do it because the world needs people who come alive.